step aside. But the point of a gun was the only law that liberty understood. When it came to shooting straight and fast, he was mighty good.
Ah, hello. Well,
I was adopted as a kid 40 miles over. The next farm to us was 5 miles away, and it didn't have any children. I was an only child, and so there was a good amount of time that I had nothing to do after chores but throw things. I threw screwdrivers mostly. Back then you could buy a nice big screwdriver for 25 cents. And I just like to throw things, and you couldn't afford a knife back then because my father, being sharecropper, you know, there wasn't any loose money. But I got pretty good with a screwdriver. Made money, I might add, a number of times, beating people with their expensive knives, throwing a screwdriver against them. Be that as it may, though, I had, as I grew up, I met a man down by Trenton, became very good friends with him. And one day he called up and he said he'd had his dog bitten by a rattlesnake and the dog died. And he said, I want to get even with him. I said, I don't blame you. What do you need me to do? And he said, well, I'm going to have a bunch of my friends come in. I'd like you to come too. We're going to go rattlesnake hunting and clean out the rattlesnakes in our area. I said, okay. And I really, you know, I didn't have a gun per se that would do that type of thing, so I said, you know, even though I've used BB guns and different things to kill rattlesnakes over my lifetime, I thought, you know, I'll take a knife because I've never killed a rattlesnake with a knife. And so I did that. I took it along and we walked along, and it wasn't long till I found spotted about 15 feet away a nice big 30-inch rattlesnake buzzing away, ready to kill anything that got close to him. I took my knife and I threw it dead on at him. And my friend, he come walking over to me, and he said, that's a great throw. And I looked at him with disgust, and because my knife had stuck about an inch away from him. And he said, I'll tell you what, go get your knife and come back here and try again. I bet you can stick him. And by that time the rattlesnake had then coiled himself around my knife, and with his head sticking up that high above it, ready to bite anything that came close to the knife. And I said, no, I think the rattlesnake wants to keep my knife. And but he was holding a snake stick at the time. He makes his own special snake stick, he did. And it was a shortened version of a push hoe. And then he'd put a real fancy, if you can see it, a real fancy hook here so you could pull them out of the weeds or whatever you needed to do. And it was a long, almost a 6-foot long stick, so you could get to them without getting bit. And the hooks would pull them back. It was just a brilliant little, well-made piece just to kill a poisonous snake. And I said, can I borrow that? Sure, and he handed it to me. I went over and killed the rattlesnake and came back, and I said, you know, I really like that. I'd like to buy one of these from you if I could. Have you make me one? And he said, no. Okay, fine. He said no. And then he cracked a little smile, but he said, I'll give you one. And I said, no, I've got money. I'd be glad to buy it from you. And that frown come back down on his face then. And he said, the correct answer when I offer to give anybody something, the correct answer is thank you. And I said, okay, thank you. And that was the kind of good old common sense farmer that he was, and the kind that this country desperately needs. Well, we killed in the next few weeks over 200 rattlesnakes on his place in the surrounding area. And he didn't have any more livestock lost, and he didn't even see a rattlesnake for the next 4 years.